Okay, so we're in part 2 of our video on how to make a Pear deck. So I've made my slideshow and I'm ready to start my lesson, which is actually the same thing as kind of opening up a session. And then that's actually what Pear deck calls these. Once you've started your lesson, you've actually opened a session. And you need to open sessions and end sessions. And you'll see how to manage that when I show you the teacher dashboard. But from here, when I'm ready to assign this to students, I don't have to do anything in a dashboard. I just click this button over here called Start Lesson. When I click Start Lesson, what's going to happen is the Pear deck is going to ask me, do I want this to be student-paced or do I want it to be instructor-paced? So again, I mentioned this in our meeting. I like to start my lessons out instructor-paced, and then I turn on student-paced when I'm finished. If you're not doing live meets with your class, then you won't want instructor-paced. It makes no sense. You're going to use student-paced. I find it a little bit tricky, though, to do this all student-paced because I'm not sure when you actually teach a lesson. There is a way of inserting a video if you want to insert a video into your slideshow and have the students watch that video and then learn how to do other things afterwards. And then answer questions afterwards. I can certainly show you how to do that, but I'll do that in a future video. So for right now, I'm clicking Student Paced, and this is going to send my students a link to go into Pear deck and actually do the work, and then I will see what they've done back on my teacher dashboard. So this is the message that you're going to get as soon as you go live, and it's telling you, about the teacher dashboard. Welcome to the teacher dashboard. So it's a view just for you. You use the teacher dashboard to privately view individual student responses. Keep this window off the projector to keep student responses anonymous. So you can use your phone or your tablet by clicking on this, but that's if you're going live. If you're not live with your students, then there's nothing to share with them or not share with them. You're just going to go to the dashboard on your own and monitor what they're doing. I'll show you that in the video after. So I'm going to click Got It. And now I'm being told several different ways that I can share this Pear deck with my students. So I mentioned this in the group today, but I will read it to you here. So there are 3 different ways that you can now share this with them. You can copy the link and paste it somewhere. So if you're sending a newsletter or you're doing this in a different way, there's the link that you can share with parents and they will be able to go in for their students. You can click Share to Classroom, which is the one that I'm going to do because that's the simplest one. Or you can tell the kids to go to a website, joinpd.com, and enter this particular 5-letter code. Now, those letter codes change all the time depending on the session that you're in. So you can use the same slideshow over and over and over again by showing by creating new sessions. So I'm going to click Share to Classroom. And then it's going to say to me, what classroom do you want? Now, I'm not in my right account, so let me switch into my teacher account. And it's going to say, okay, I'll share it to a classroom. Choose your class. Now, I have multiple classes under my name. If you only have the one, don't worry. I'm going to use my sample class right now so that I don't mess up my students. So I'm clicking on the class I want to assign this to. That's my class. And then it lets me choose. Do I want to create an assignment, ask a question, make an announcement, or create material? I like to do assignments. I think it's the easiest way to do it. So I'm going to click Create Assignment. What's going to happen next is it's going to look exactly like it does anytime you make an assignment in Google Classroom. So take a look and see what happens. So I click Create Assignment and click Go down here at the bottom. And now I have an assignment. The same screen I always get. I'm in Google Classroom now, in that right class, and now I can just go ahead and make my assignments. If my assignment was multiplication lesson, Pear deck has already put a couple things in there for me. It put in this little sentence, use the link to join this Pear deck activity. You, of course, can put in any instructions you want for this, but the key thing is that this is the link, and I didn't add it. It was integrated in Pear deck, so all my students need to do is click on it, and I'll show you in a minute what that looks like. So once I've decided that I'm happy with all the rest of this, I prefer to put due dates in because then kids know that they actually have to finish something. And it shows up as a reminder. I also like my topics, so I put things under topics. And now I'm ready to assign it. So I click Assign, and I posted it to my classroom. Now, if I go into my classroom and this was my sample class, you can see that there it is. Cindy Kozarov posted a new assignment multiplication lesson. When I click on it, I'm seeing it as a teacher. And this is what you will see. I have only one student in my class who happens to be my son, and that's the only way I can see the teacher and the student side. So this is what you will see. Just like you see any other assignment, you'll see this in your classwork, but you will not be able to see any of the work that they've done in Pear Deck through Google Classroom. For that, you have to actually go into Pear Deck. So that's how you assign it. Now, what does it look like from the student side? And I'll make a separate little video for the parents, but just so you understand it. So right now I have a live section going. This has been posted, and I am now one of my students. So let me flip over. If you can notice here, I've got an E. That means I'm logged in as my son, Elliot. And this is what a student would see. There's that assignment. He clicks on the assignment, and he sees my instructions. This is what it looks like, by the way, from the student side. He clicks on Sign In, and it will take him directly into Pear Deck. Now, because he's logged in as himself, the computer will know that it's him, and no additional click was necessary. Now, it might be because he has not done it before. There may be another click necessary on the parent side, but hopefully not. And here he is, ready to go. So welcome to your multiplication lesson. There's nothing to do there, so he goes to the next slide. And it says we want to share 12 items into 4 groups with 3 items and da, 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 da. And here's the instruction. Here are all those tools. And now it says use the drawing tools to draw 3 items in each group. Okay, so I'm going to draw 3 items in each group. And I like to play with the tools, so I'll do that. And this is how the students will interact with the Pear Deck. They're happy with their work. They go forward. Read the next slide. There's nothing to do. There are no tools available. That means I'm just supposed to read this. What happens if a student clicks on it? It does that again. Not much to see. It just keeps refreshing. Okay, so he's supposed to read this. Hopefully he will. Okay, so on this slide, we have a division sentence, and the student is supposed to use the text tool in order to answer the question. So in order to use the text tool, the best thing to do is to, the only thing to do is to go down and get that T, and then click in a space, and then the students are able to write. Now, they don't have the division signs available to them so easily. You can do it. There are ways to do it, but just to keep it simple, you can just tell them to use that backslash. So 12 divided by 3 equals 4, or 12 divided by 4 equals 3. I don't know. You get the idea. Okay, so there we go. And that's how you use the text tool. So the students continue working through this until they're happy with their work. The answer to the division sentence shows the number of sets. Draw a picture for each division sentence. So I'm not going to do this now. It's going to make the video too long, but you get the idea. Continue working through this, and they get to the end. And we're now on our last slide. So what do? There's no submit button. There's no anything. There's nothing to do on here. All the student needs to do at this point is to close the tab, and they are done. They can actually go back in if they want. So if I click back in on my son again, and I want to click back into it, and I want to finish it, I can definitely do that. As long as the teacher hasn't ended the session, I can go back in, and what you will see is the work that I've already done. So if I scroll back, you can see there, I did that before. There's the first page that I did. Because I've logged in as myself, my work has saved. And as long as the teacher hasn't ended the session, you can do a little bit now, you can go back into it and finish it later. So again, I'm going to go to the end. I'm pleased with my work. I'm ready to submit, so I'm done. I'm going to just close this. And then your student can actually just click mark as done because they've actually finished it. If they mark it as done, it says you didn't attach work for multiplication lesson, so your teacher will just see it's done. That's perfect. That means that the kid went and did Pear Deck. Now they're marking it as done. Now you know that it's finished, and you can go and check the work in Pear Deck. And that's it. That's how you assign it. So in the next video, I'm just going to show you how, as a teacher, you can see the students' work and you can take a look at it. And then I will make one last little video that will be helpful for parents to see how they can actually open up the Pear Deck for their child. So I will see you in lesson or video number 3.